try to leave your meditation wanting more. Anybody have any questions or? Yes.
So what do you do with physical discomfort?
Get really creative.
Yeah. Like a tired back,
Yeah.
back spasms, just even just itches.
I can say just a few things, but then also online, if you access online with Ananda, there's a marvelous video in there, that video clip that Anandi does showing people how to sit in the different variations. And I think it's just important to know, I mean, you can be really creative. The ideal is straight, tall spine, but other than that, it's wide open. So, honestly, I mean, different times, nothing like you find the perfect position, and like everything else in this world, it's fleeting. So you've got to eventually, over time, invent lots of perfect positions. And pillows like this are real good because you can fold them and stuff in the back, in the small of your back, because you do want to be away from the back of the chair. It's usually not supportive of the tall spine. You can, if you elevate the back of the hips just a little bit, or a little more if you need to, so that it tilts your pelvic area forward a little bit. That allows your seat to support the back. And you lift from, this point here at the sternum and make sure the shoulders are relaxed. I have to do that so many times in a given meditation, it's very embarrassing.
We have these cool little wedges you can try.
That'll do it for you. Yeah, so
it's
try
like
that.
sitting on a meditation bench.
And the meditation benches do that. And just keep checking yourself, because almost what happens most of the time is just we acquire tension somewhere along the way. Maybe it's the energy moving through some scars, some karma, whatever. But all of a sudden you find you're sitting there and you're like this, and if you just drop it, you're fine. Or you find that you're sitting there and your leg is just really tense and vibrating. So tension creeps in. I think that's probably just part of the process of purification and energy flow that's happening in meditation. And you need to just, when you feel that tension, check your body and then exit it again. Leave it. You can use a blanket like this, and just, some people just having this rest a little higher up makes all a world of difference in relaxing the shoulders. And so just, if you access that online and look at it, go through it, but just keep trying things. And the wedges, the benches, the little pillows, you'll find something. And stretching is always good.
The type of tension in the mind is reflected in bodily tension. So if the mind is restless, you'll find that, like Maria said, you're actually holding a whole bunch of tension in your neck, or your facial muscles, or your stomach. So you evolve a strategy for relaxation, and then Swami said if you can hold the body perfectly still for the first 5 minutes without moving, you can often disconnect from those levels of awareness that are the body and have that tension. And once you enter the superconscious, you don't really remember that you have a body. And then if the body's in a comfortable, relaxed position, it will just stay there because you're not connected to it. So it just takes practice and like Maria said, creativity, and then the bodies change. The first few years I meditated, I always had to be up against a post because I had hurt my back playing basketball. After a while, I didn't have to do it. Just changes.
Yes, Maria.
When you leave this world, and you come back again on a different body, the karma that you bring in from your past life is only from the past life or the previous lives?
Everything.
there or it isn't there. It's all the way
It
there.
may not all surface.
1,000 slides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
All
yes,
of them.
yeah. And some of it gives, I mean, a lot of it's not gonna be expressed in this incarnation. It's not what this incarnation is about, but your resume is there, it's there. It may be mitigated, it may ultimately be mitigated through action, working it out on the physical plane, but it can also be transmuted in meditation. So, yeah, we bring with it what isn't finished
So
business.
it only keeps on building up, building up, building up, building up.
Oh, I know,
until-
we're getting rid
No.
of it.
No, until
Oh.
we come to self-realization,
Oh.
right?
No,
No?
Well,
we're dissipating
yeah.
the karma all the time. Swami said in one meditation, you can burn up the karma of an entire lifetime. It's by meditation, the more you focus on the light, the less that karma has a hold on you, and it just sort of crumbles into dust. So every good action, every meditation, every prayer, every kind thought is antidote for previous times. And it's not like you have this huge load and you're just with it all the time. It's a constantly changing directionally picture. And so you are dissolving karma with every meditation. Kriya burns karma, chanting burns karma, service burns
But
karma.
only until you begin to meditate.
No, you're burning. People are burning karma by their kindness every day.
By living
Feeding
life,
their dog.
doing the right thing in life, being kind to others is the reciprocal of, an incarnation when we weren't, or, a positive, harmonious, meaningful relationship is the opposite of the one that wasn't. I mean, we're working this out. We work out these behaviors and attitudes and things that haven't gone right before. We get a chance to work those out. So even if we're not consciously aware spiritually, but we're just not aware of it. But in acting rightly and doing good, we are a spiritual being. We are aligned that way. Maybe we don't have a technique or the guru or this kind of thing, but we're giving our life on the battlefield, of life, and or literally we're doing, for some cause, some service, we're doing something that's expansive, that's inclusive of other realities and truths, then we're working out karma. Yeah. Where we've created
It's not piling up all the
disharmony,
time.
yeah.
It's eroding and piling up, and good karma is piling up, and you have different types of karma.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, be happy.
So what do you do if you can't stop worrying?
The master said, go on a worry fast.
Yeah.
He said, you're worrying all the time and you can't stop worrying, then go on a worry fast. Begin with a short worry fast, maybe 15 minutes. For the next 15 minutes, I will not worry no matter what happens. Then you can start worrying again. So it's a process of breaking a habit. You have a habit of worrying, what if? And Master said, go on a worry fast. Then extend your worry fast. Go for an hour. And make it for an hour, not worrying, no matter what happens in that hour, I'm not going to worry. 2 hours, 3 hours. And then, you can approach it with the rational mind as an aid, but the superconscious mind, you will find almost invariably that when you're worrying, there's tension in the body. If you can identify that tension and relax that body part, it'll help you to relax. Get a picture of Master or the Guru or Divine Mother or something, and give them the problems. A whole bunch of problems. Here you go, Master. I'm not for the next hour, next 2 hours, next day, and you become a week of no worry, a month of no worry. By then you forget to worry anymore. As much as it becomes a habit to worry, it becomes a habit not to worry. Because you just keep giving. It's a requirement for center leaders. You cannot worry about this because this is not our problem. That's Master's problem. Those are his details. And Kriyananda used to tell us that all the time. We would talk about, I was talking to Jaya the other day, and we were both reminding each other that Swami said, look, this is Master's work. It's not our problem. You know, I'm not going to worry about it. You know, it looks dire. It's, what are we going to do? We do put out energy where it's constructive, but there are things you can't worry about but they are Master's problem and Babaji's problem. Johnny and I we were agreeing that this is Babaji's problem. he's in charge of Ananda India, and he's not going to worry about it, no matter what.
We have to give control of our life over to Divine Mother. That's really what it's about, because we're worried because we think we're in control and we're responsible and we have to make it happen. So we worry. It's a big responsibility to make the world happen, you know, especially if I'm in charge. So we have to learn to relinquish that sense of I and mine and I'm in control, and you know, and give that away to the only one who is responsible, who can do anything. Yeah. So it's just it's the worry fast, and then it's just handing that over, being willing to relinquish that sense. Yeah. It's not that you're not responsible or you don't still do things, but you just realize it's that energy through you. It's not an egoic attachment to controls.
My question is about how can I overcome my sensitivity towards others when friends and family members, they tell me how much they're suffering, and this goes on every day. And I'm tired of being the rock or the shoulder that they come and cry. I sympathize and I get depressed because I feel so bad. There's nothing I can do to change. And I tried the little that I know about the Master's teaching without applying techniques, but in a rational way. But it's a daily challenge.
Learn to pray for them and give them, like we're talking about, give them to Divine Mother. If they have a religious path, when Christians ask me for help, I give them to Jesus or Mary. When Buddhists ask me for help, I give them to the Buddha. I mean, give them to their Guru. But hold them in light and with a detached sense of, you know, like when we send out the Om or when we do healing prayers, we ask the Divine Mother to flow through us to them. But we don't, because we don't have the answers. You can't fix them. But Divine Mother can fix them and find a way to direct them to the solutions. So it's basically distancing your heart from it. You have the compassion, you feel that, and you pray for them, and we need to be sensitive to them because they are in suffering. But to give them to the light, hold them. When we do healing prayers, you don't picture the person ill. You picture them well and strong and in the blue healing light, the Divine Mother. And holding that image will awaken within them the process of getting out of suffering, getting out of illness, getting out of emotional dilemma. And so it's distancing yourself, which incidentally frees you, because you distance yourself from your ego. You're not the cause of this, and you're not the ego. You're the infinite Divine Mother. You're the current of love. It is the solution to all the suffering in the world. But it's distancing yourself and picturing them well and strong, sending them home, praying for them, and giving them to Divine Mother or their Guru if they have a path, and telling Christ, take care of these children.
Yes, do you have a question?
No. Okay, Jennifer, you get one more question.
The devotion that you were talking about last night feels like a really kind of
and just the way that your whole essence sort of brought the energy to it. It seems like a very vulnerable place. It's can be a little scary, that kind of fear of intimacy sort of thing is a bit of a block here. And I know I've had times of meditating before when I felt really vulnerable and intimate, and then it's too much, it's too scary, run away kind of thing. Is there, and I hear inside my head, just do it over and over. It's just like, just take the steps and do it. But is there anything you can share about your experience or stories you've heard of experience of others walking through things like that?
For me, it's like the only safe place, rather than vulnerability. But I do understand what you're saying, and I think it's just a process to get there, because we interpret it and experience it as having to let go of something, and then we feel vulnerable. If I give this up, what is that going to do? Where is that going to put me in life? Where is that going to put me in relationship to others, or to carrying out my job, or even being interested in being here on this planet? Just all kinds of, people, all those questions are real as you're letting go of something, because this world, albeit it's matter, but it's also the familiar, it's to us at this point. So the closer we get inwardly to Divine Mother, we have to, I think, what we will experience is, what you experience is more. And it's just making that kind of transition. It's like you're going, when you walk through a tunnel underground and you come out and there's the whole world and all of this light. Like in the tunnel, you feel constricted and confined, and it's narrow and it's dark and it's long and you can't see the end of it, where it's going. But I think that's the beauty of practicing devotion in our life, because as we feel that energy going through, that love is so comforting. That's the safety net, is feeling that love. The rest of it is, you can't figure it out. You can't qualify it. You don't know where it's going. None of us can say we know the future or what's going to happen in our life tomorrow, or even if we'll be here. So of course there's a vulnerability there. But as we enter more into our heart and practice devotion and giving, seeing our life as an extension of the Masters. We're their hands, their feet, their heart, and that's the only life we really have. As we move into discipleship is the life that our Guru lives through, his body and his consciousness. So it's just, I think if we can touch on that devotion, just chant, try chanting or listening to chanting or listening to Yogananda's voice, Swamiji's voice. Those experiences for me it's instantaneous. It's just like comfort zone. I'm in that consciousness. And again, I think like Ananta said, it's just changing a habit, a visual way of thinking. But practicing devotion is really fun.
Ananda used to often quote the Kuridar, St. John Vianney. He said, if only you knew how much God loves you, you would die for joy. And it's not human love, because there is vulnerability, because he could dump you, she could, that's human, that's the imperfect level of the divine. And the divine level of the divine is limitless, undying love. So it's continuing to lift our consciousness to that higher level, then attaining that, which Master and the other masters had. Then when you watch the human movie, you see divine love in every mother and every child, every husband and every wife, every boy and his dog. It's an expression on lower and lower levels of this unalterable truth. And then the vulnerability is erased because the vulnerability only exists up to that level. You know, up to that, if only you knew how much he loves you, you'd die for joy. So that's sort of the target.